Hey folks, ET here, coming at you with the midweek mash-up, and we're going to look at SPY and QQQ and see what everything looks like for the data, and just check and see what we've done so far and how everything is looking as far as deltas and GEX and everything else. So let's go ahead and dig into SPY. We had a pretty good drawdown today, brought us all the way down to this 426 gamma level. Kind of just didn't get all the way there, but definitely bounced a little bit and found itself kind of trapped in this $1 box. I'd like to point out that its next current level down is a large DP and then a GEX level at 420, and QQQ looks a little bit like the same. Plenty of room for upside, but the downside has a really big massive move going down. So let's take a look. We don't pay attention to its net flow, so we'll keep moving from there. Its deltas are kind of staying right around the same. They go up a little bit, down a little bit, depending on the day. So we're still showing some potential downside, but I still like to see those build up just a little bit more. As far as our price distros go, there is a little bit of push towards the bullish side to the last 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday, and then going out or Thursday and Friday, sorry, and then go down to the next week. It also looks a little bit bullish. So a couple of scenarios we could see could be some pullback, or a run up and then some pullback later on, or vice versa, a run up and then a pullback and then a run up, or a run up and then a pullback. Going into Friday's expiry for our dealer OI, it is showing a little bit bullish, quite a bit bullish actually. It shrunk down a little bit, I think. These past few days are slightly bearish, and then we see maybe a potential bullish Friday. So we could pull back some and then get a move upwards. Checking our Friday expiry here for our gamma levels, just to see where they all look. Largest level is still at 429, so those tend to pull upwards. There's another pretty good sizable level at 435, which would be pretty shocking to see, but I would not be shocked much at all. And then a little bit of repel at 430, which is what we've been seeing right around that line I call the Gandalf line. You shall not pass. About 429.64, right around there. It just keeps rejecting. Then another really positive line at about 439. So right around here, there's 426, this positive line. We did repel from that today, as you can see, so we didn't quite get down there. So kind of a decent range we have there, with the biggest pull being about 429. Looking at price, looking at its GEX and VEX profile, it is supported around 429 as well, so that does show potential for some more upside heading that direction. So once we get to here, we might see some buyers, or we can see some buyers to get us up to there. So just checking out the levels real quick. Obviously, here's our big line that we keep dumping from, which is really interesting to see. But today was just a beautiful drawdown. We had bearish MNF for a good portion of the day, but it took a little while for it to get there and for flow traders to catch up. So we're kind of caught in this little box right here, which we have been already previously in the week. So we'll see how that plays out. And then, like I said before, heading downwards, the next level is 420. So interesting to see that if it loses this 426 hard, which is, as we just took a look at, a pretty sizable positive level, right? So it could continue to repel from there and work its way back up to that 429, which is what its largest draw is right now. So we could be stuck in this 426 to 429 range the rest of the week. All right, moving on to QQQ. Let's go through. Remember, we don't pay attention to its net flow. It obviously had a drawdown today, and that did match, but we still don't watch this. It's just not quite a good idea. Quite a few puts bought today, obviously, for the downside move there. So no shocker there. Its deltas are also building up and showing, like I said, they don't have the exact same returns. Those exact same returns as SPY, but still fairly decent, but they are still building up towards more downside. Its distro for tomorrow actually looks a little bit bullish, which is pretty interesting. And then going into Friday, the same. And then if we just kind of go out to the next few days, a little bit into next week, to see, we see some maybe more drawdown days, and then another day which is so even, a chop day or a round trip day. Interesting to see how these are playing out. Just kind of watch, and then going a little further out, it looks like there are some more bearish positions. So what would be interesting to see, to be honest, is if we do get a little bit of a run up and then finally start drawing down into those big ghost zones below if no new gamma really appears. For today, obviously, we were looking at a bearish position. That worked out quite perfectly. It was pretty bearish. It went down. Tomorrow is showing slightly bullish, and then Friday is slightly bearish again. So it kind of matches up just a little bit with the correlations as well. Going into our gamma, let's go ahead and take a quick look at what our Friday gamma looks like to see potentially where our range could be. Big old spot at 355 that could repel if we can't get above it. Obviously, if we do get above it, could push. And then 351 is its current largest negative pull there. So 355 to 351 could end up being the range that we see it trade in over the next few days. Once again, its Gex and Vex profile is always a little baffling to me. It shows that we're buyers down at 337, which is pretty interesting because that is quite a bit down from where price currently is. But taking a look at it, it's currently in a massive ghost zone down to, guess what, 340, which is darn near close to that 337, and it's just got two very sizable ghost zones all the way down to 325. So interesting to see how that plays out later on in the week and going into next week's sessions. For now, I'm just going to play it safe and kind of keep an eye on if it can get back above this line or if tomorrow is a bad day and it continues down. So that is QQQ for you, and we will do one more bonus. We're going to throw Tesla in here because it's been doing pretty well lately and people have been having a good time. So, and it's been moving quite a bit. So let's see what Tesla looks like. We'll grab its levels really quick. All right, we've grabbed the Tesla levels, and we'll go ahead and take a look at its dashboard real quick. So it's looking, some calls definitely sold off today quite a bit. That 220, we went past it up to that 227, and then it just kind of had a mid choppy day from there. But you know, nothing really impressive after that. Quite a few puts, not quite a few puts, a small amount of puts were bought, so that's interesting to see. But its deltas are still building towards the downside, which points up to a very high win percent rate and a lot of returns going that way as well. So still bullish on Tesla. Going into tomorrow, bullish. Okay, that's pretty interesting to see on the price distros. Once again, slightly bullish going into Friday. And the next few days are just quite bullish for Tesla. That's pretty interesting to see. It kind of lines up with the dealer Greeks build up. Then going 10 days out, it finally goes into its first real bearish looking day on delta correlations, or on price distribution, sorry. So our price distro, it's 10 days out that way. This is interesting to see. Going into Friday, our 6-9 is a very, very bullish position pushing, and then it shrinks down out into next week, which would be not quite 10 days, as a little bit more of a bearish position. So this dealer OI here, this bullish position does line up with the dealer Greeks and the price distribution. Let's take a look. Obviously, the other day, 213-ish was the best place to buy. You can see how this gamma level held, right? And then we started to attract, rejected at our repel level a little bit, and then gapped up overnight. 220 is really the spot I'm looking for a pullback. I would love to see it hit here, or even this 215 again for a nice buy for a long swing if its deltas hold up and the market sentiment goes. But it still continued to hold pretty strong throughout the day, even though the rest of the market was really seeing some downside. So this is an interesting one. These dealer Greeks on Tesla are just so good in comparison to some other tickers. They really do seem to hit more frequently than not, and so I am definitely looking to at some point take a long here, but I would like a dip first. 220 seems to be the best spot as it's a repel. If it gets beneath, obviously more patient, and then there is just some room up obviously to that 240, so that would be pretty interesting to see. And we have seen Tesla move crazy, so that is highly possible. But if anything changes, as I keep my eye on everything, I will change my thesis there. I don't like that we have short QQQ and short SPY and the potential for a long Tesla. I really like those to match up to go very long on things, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Hope everybody has a good night, and this was helpful to you all. Have a good trading day tomorrow, and go get that Oprah money.